Yeah. Blackjack. Life is like a game of cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Yeah. Blackjack. To play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy DELRAY Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Straight Game TV. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Thank you for hitting the play button. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up notification, subscribe to the channel, tell a friend, and most importantly, if you want to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this straight game, do me a favor as well as yourself a favor and hit the bell notification. It's very much appreciated. I'm going to get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, what I have for you today is a gem. And I want you to understand what I mean by that. Most of the times when we're confronted with problems, a lot of us, we respond emotionally and not logically. The letter that I have today, that's handwritten by Tupac Shakur, and the letter coinciding with this letter is basically the response, a very powerful response to the individual that he actually wrote this letter to, and the information that came through with the response involving that. And like I said, once you get the information and you basically piece it together, as I read it to you, you're going to understand why I say that. I believe that this letter, as well as the corresponding letter, should be studied in classrooms, law schools across America. It shows the intelligence, the poise, the patience, and the conviction of Tupac Shakur, despite being in prison at this particular time at the Clinton Correctional Facility in Dannemora, New York. Tupac was always on his P's and his Q's, and he was ready to fight and do what he needed to do. And I don't mean fight from the perspective of violence, but I mean fight in using his pen and using his brain. And I'm going to get right into it. So basically, the letter, the most important letter, it's written on August 30th, 1995 at approximately 7:35 p.m. And it starts off and it says, "Greetings, Mr. Superintendent. My name is Tupac Shakur, number 95A1140. I lock in LH 125 in APPU. I'm writing to you because today, August 30th, 1995, at approximately 7:35, I went to take my keep lock shower, and 15 minutes later, upon returning, I was told by at least 6 inmates that a CO, correctional officer, had been inside my cell for about 5 minutes. When I returned to my cell, I looked around but could not immediately find anything out of place. I am bringing this to your attention because I have not received formal notification of my cell being searched, and I believe something to be peculiar about this invasion of my privacy. I have had many problems in the past with contraband accusations and false charges of drug consumption. I am sending this information to you as well as to my attorney as a safeguard in case of any unforeseen problems with something found in my cell. Please be kind enough to inform me as to why this situation occurred. I appreciate your patience and unbiased attention. I await your response. Thank you. Tupac A. Shakur." Brilliant. Brilliant. I want to say first and foremost, the understanding of Tupac in this letter and what he observed and what made him write this letter. As you can see, he had been harassed. He had been through a lot at that particular time up until this point, being in a maximum security prison for what he had believed at the time were basically trumped up charges. And so with that said, this letter right here is so powerful because, number one, when he says that the inmates had told him something, Tupac didn't respond emotionally. He responded rationally. He responded intelligently. He responded logically, and he responded like somebody who understood the situation that he was in. It was kind of a no-win situation, and doing anything else, you're in prison, right? And so what he decides to do is he decides to write a letter. And not only did he write the letter, but he also put in the letter the situations and the things that had occurred prior to him writing this letter. And the fact that, he had been accused of false charges, as he said, of drug consumption and probably many other things. But the fact of the matter is that a correctional officer had been in his cell for approximately 5 minutes while he was taking a shower. We've seen many things happen before, even in the streets with, things being planted on people and so on and so forth. I won't say that was what was going on here, but Tupac was concerned about that because they had made accusations which he believed to be false before, right? And so with that, it's very, very, very interesting how he chose to word this letter, and then at the end basically saying that he was sending this information not only to the superintendent but also to his attorney as a safeguard in case of any unforeseen problems with something found in my cell, so that he would be preventing anything from happening as far as them planting something in himself and putting it in writing and sending it to his CEO. And sending it to the superintendent as well as his attorney. Very, very, very powerful move. And the part that I find most interesting is the end, when Tupac said, "Please be kind enough to inform me as to why this situation occurred. I appreciate your patience and unbiased attention. I await your response. Thank you, Tupac A. Shakur." Now, you seen the letter, absorb it, because I got something else for you in relation to how this letter right here was not the only situation involving Tupac Shakur and involving that situation and revolving this situation in which he felt like he was being wrong and his privacy was being invaded. So now, that was on the 30th, right? Here's a interdepartmental memorandum. So that would be basically to all of the COs in the correctional officers, all of the administration in the jail, basically State of New York Department of Correctional Services, Clinton Correctional Facility, interdepartmental memorandum. The date is August 25th, 1995 to Tupac Shakur 95A1140-H1/25 from none other than the recipient of the letter that Tupac wrote, Daniel A. Sinkowski, the superintendent. The subject, telephone call. Who? The Reverend Al Sharpton. And it's advising Tupac, it says, "Be advised that I received a phone call today from Reverend Sharpton's office. He advised that he will be at the facility on Friday, September 1st, 1995 at approximately 8:45 a.m. to visit you." And it's signed by the superintendent. Powerful. So Tupac writes that letter dated August 30th. And 2 days later, Al Sharpton's coming to the jail because Tupac was being mistreated. And Tupac knew how to galvanize the troops, or should I say round up the troops in trying to defend him because he was being mistreated. Why? Why? Because he was simply who he was? Or did he have a serious problem enough that he deemed that, he had called home? And I also got this information also, the conversation I had also with Tupac's father, Billy Garland, who was also informed about this, and I believe had reached out to the Reverend Al Sharpton, as he told me, in regards to this situation. And the Reverend Sharpton actually responded promptly, as you see with the letter from Tupac being dated August 30th, and Reverend Sharpton coming in at approximately 2 days later. Powerful. So, like I said, I believe that this information right here should be studied in classrooms, law schools across the United States. But more importantly, your children, mostly African American males and females, like I said, any children of any race, but I'm dealing with particularly African American males and females based on the fact that we face a lot of discrimination. And Tupac felt at that particular time in the jail, he had basically said as much, being falsely accused of things, that they were discriminating against him. He had said that much. And so, yeah, this is very powerful. Not only that, let me tell you this, and because my last album that I put out, it was in like 2017, 18, right? On the album, I put on there 12 summarized Supreme Court cases in between each song that govern the rules of engagement with our community and law enforcement. It's never been done before. But more importantly, like I said, me just coming across this letter and all of these things, I just want to recommend, it's not about money. It's not about you spending money or me making money from what I'm about to tell you. The album is called Master Mason and Hip Hop Grammar. And you can listen to it free on YouTube. You don't have to pay a dime. You don't have to buy the album. You have to do none of that. You can listen to it free and take that information and use it. Like I said, you can bend the law, but don't break it. But more importantly, it's important that you understand your rights and the rights that you have, because a lot of us don't understand our rights. And like I said, for me, this is about giving information to help you better yourself, to help me better myself. And like I said, and be informed, most importantly, because it's always about knowledge. Your boy DELRAY, straight game.